Hello guys and welcome back. I've missed a couple of weeks. That was the week prior to which I've yet to do my camping vlog. That was only a 3-day week, and last week was also a 3-day week because of Easter, so off on Friday as well. And this week off on Monday, but we don't usually open on Mondays, so it's kind of the same this week to a normal week. First up, I just want to say, my voice. I have been up since breaking up on Thursday. I have been absolutely wiped out. Not COVID before anybody says, but a few people have had this, but it's really impacted us. I don't know what the hell it is, but my throat is just like, honestly, swallowing razor blades every time I swallow. And it's got us like salivating all the time, and especially at nights. Oh my God. Honestly, I haven't slept nearly in 4 nights. But with it being Easter, I have forced myself to get on and do things for the kids, because we've been all over the place. We've visited my friend's allotment, which was fantastic. We spent the whole day there. He's got that half converted as like a play area for the kids, and obviously the other half is an allotment. 7 kids, played all day from 10 o'clock till 6 o'clock. Absolutely great. We've been outdoors all day. It took its toll on us. IKEA on Friday, getting Olivia a bed. My idea of hell. I managed to do it. Saturday, we went out to find a new campsite, which I'll keep as a secret for now. It's absolutely lovely. I'm looking forward to going there at the beginning of May. That was Sunday, the allotment, and Monday, back to IKEA, because we couldn't fit all the stuff in the car. And when I went there, I just thought it was one box, like about that big. This is some of the old kids stuff we're going to chuck out. About that big, I thought it was a box. No, that was just one of 4. And one of the other 4 was flipping huge. Good job I took the new car, the Trooper. I haven't done this won't be out. I'll have done the reveal of the new car before this. Luckily, I took the Trooper because it just fitted. But the way I'm feeling, it's terrible. Honestly, worst headache ever, constantly. Sore throat, constantly. Earache. And the worst thing is I can't sleep, because the minute I lie down, the pain just amplifies, and every time you swallow, you feel like you're choking. I'm waking up through the night, and I'm like panicking because I can't breathe. It's horrendous. My mate had it as well, and he said it lasted weeks, and that's the proper depressed us. As normally I can fight one of these issues off in a couple of days, but nah, we're more than 4 days into it now, and I feel just as shit now as I did on Thursday. So I'm going to get the work done the day, just try and get home. And the old saying, my partner said it a few times to us, she goes, just go and lie down, you're fine. I'm like, that's the worst thing about it. It's a cruel flipping illness, this, because when you want to lie down to rest or have 5 minutes, it makes you 10 times worse. So yeah, I was meant to be at a car show yesterday, somewhere down the country with Chris, and I've had to call it off. As it happens, weirdly, he's saying he's got a bit of a funny throat and stuff like that. Definitely can't give him that from speaking on the phone. So I had to cancel that. So another bloody good car show, a day out, cancelled. So this week, it's going to be a few bits. I'm not going to probably make this a long vlog, because tomorrow, I believe, my friend Sam is coming in with his Mini. Believe it or not, there's a Mini just in the same, which has just gone for MOT. Mini, I forgot what they're called. I think it's a Clubman or a Countryman. I think a Countryman Cooper S. And he did all my electrical work on my house, in my loft and everything. And I said I would service his car when he's free. And that's just all his stuff here in my Astra. So we've got the oil filter, iridium spark plug, iridium spark plugs, and an air filter. Bit of an issue with the pollen filter. That had to go back, and they couldn't get it. Dealer part only, supposedly. So tomorrow with him, he's here. He'll probably like to have a bit of a catch up with my dad, with me. So I'm probably not going to record. I might do a quick little bit, because he's never really seen us doing recording, and he'll probably be quite keen for us to put his car on. But it just depends how I feel, because the way I feel just doing this is more of a chew than anything else for us, to be honest. I'm being honest with you. So I'll go around and show you what we've got in. There was a Mini Clubman or Cooper of some kind just away in for MOT. This is in for front discs and pads. The pads are getting a bit low, and the inner edges of the discs, and the customer just basically said to us, just do them, because we did the back ones a couple of months ago. That's his request, he wants them done. Oil and filter. Remember, these have got that dreadful 1.2 3-cylinder engine in with the wet belt, so they take the specific oil. We've got the filter and an air filter, but when you look at these, they just crumble away to next to nothing. These exhausts on these cars, they're absolutely horrendous. You know, like, all this is becoming detached. And like I mentioned with the other one the other week, you can't get this section of exhaust yet for some reason, and I don't know why. Round to the back, I'm just going to give it a once-over, but it was just in for MOT the other week, so it's fine. See, it's got the new brakes on the back. But even these brand new brakes, if you look, the scores that they somehow managed to get in them is ridiculous. They must pick up, because if you notice, they've got no shield on them at all. They're completely exposed. You see better there on that one? Just completely exposed, and they've got a bearing in them as well. They're like a bearing disc, so they're very expensive. And they just collect all the dirt in the air. And they end off getting like scores. That's a brand new disc and it's got a nasty score. Nothing to do with nothing we've done. It's just the design of these cars are horrendous. Like I said, the exhausts are just made of flipping cardboard. What's this, an 18 plate? Sorry guys, that's the guy who cuts the grass. Lovely fella, just the very last thing I want. So he's going to be braying on with a grass cutter now for probably 2 hours. And if there is any pollen starting, it's going to go straight in my throat. So I couldn't have asked for anything worse. It's not nothing to do with the guy, just the last thing I could do with right now. So yeah, anyways, this is what we're getting on with. I don't think there's even anything else out here, because everything else has to be recovered or picked up. No, there isn't. So that's Tom there opening up. He's going to he cuts the grass. Lives in the flats at the back. He's a cracking guy. And the landlord just slips him a bit of beer and cigarette money, and he cuts the grass for her. He enjoys doing it. So that's him sorted. So now the noise will start, and my throat is starting, as you can hear, so I need to have a drink. Yeah, that's this thing. I'll show you later on what I'm getting on. But what I'm going to do now while my dad's away, keep busy and don't think about my sore throat. Start getting all this stripped down, get the oil out, the oil filter, so that my dad doesn't get back and think I've been doing nothing. But by God, I could just go and sit in that office and have a nap. You just might be thinking you're whinging on, Dan, but honestly, this has been gone on too long now. This, like, I'm not a wuss. Generally, I can work through issues and stuff, but with this, it's just a nightmare. Got a little Vauxhall Agila to go and recover, which my trip has come in handy again. Since it's just a little car, the trip I can tow 3.5 ton. Probably go down there and tow that in, get myself a bit of diesel money for the trooper, because we don't charge recovery, because then you've got to have a recovery, like what is it, a recovery, it's got to go through the books basically. So what we say to our customers is it's free of charge if you're getting the work done with us, and 9 times out of 10 they always just slip you some, basically a goodwill gesture, a tip, and just basically say, there you go, thanks for doing it, you know. Because for years I've not wanted to do recovery work, but locally I will on lightweight cars. Even though it's a trooper, even on my ML tow, whatever as well, I'm not towing heavyweight vehicles, because the pressure you put on your vehicle for what money you can charge, just not worth it. So yeah, I'm going to crack on with this. Got my cup of coffee waiting, getting cold, and there's the filters for this man ones, and it's a special oil which I'll show you. I'll see how I get through this week. If I feel any better, I'll keep putting more bits in. If I don't, I might just delete this bit out. But I'll catch you guys when I get on stripping that. Forgot what it's called. Greenland, Grandland, Crossland. But I'm going to go around and have a look, because I stop all the time with these things. I personally don't like them at all. What is it? Crossland X. The X meaning, well, people will think 4-wheel drive, but they're not. 1.2 3-cylinder front wheel drive Citroen C3 Aircross. That's what you've got, badged as a Vauxhall Crossland X. I know I wouldn't be spending 20 grand plus on one of them. But anyways, I'll catch you soon, guys. Right, guys, it's been about half an hour since we last filming, and my throat is getting really dry with all the dust blowing about in here. So yeah, I just want to show you what I've been up to. I've got the front brake stripped off these. Always remember, I've just got that hooked over there. Don't have these hanging, because you will damage the flexi brake lines. So what I've done is push the cylinder back, brake piston. I can't put any lubrication on these until the caliper carrier's back in place. Clean these off, put a bit of the grease onto them, Also greased the threads ready on the main carrier calipers. Caliper bolts, but if you look at those, they're a torque. They're a really nasty thing for rounding off. So don't put these on too tight and put plenty of grease on them. And that's the top caliper one, which will more than likely come with the new pads. Hence I haven't greased that one up. And I've cleaned off the pad sitting area on the guides. So they're just ready now. I'm waiting for the order because my dad thought they were for this car, but they're not. They're for a car that's in on Friday. So I'm just waiting for them to be delivered. Same at the other side. Again, I've got this hooked across. Again, so the hose isn't stressed. Greased up. Everything pushed back and ready to go. Easier here with it being on the bench. Caliper carrier, nice and clean. And I will be greasing those up with some silicone grease once it's ready to go back together. So I'm just on now doing the oil and filter. I just want to show you a few things with these, since they're an absolutely garbage engine for a start. I just wanted to show you that these have an issue where they get an airlock. You should always pre-fill an oil filter anyways, but in some cases you can't. But on these, if you don't, when you start them up, they sometimes don't self-bleed and actually seize the engine. You run them on no oil. So always, as you can see in there, pre-fill them with oil. And it has to be the proper right Citroen Peugeot spec oil as well. It's a 030 that these take. So I'm just letting that soak in there now while that's draining. And then I'll be putting the filter on, drain the oil out. And then when I'm at the top there, I'll show you. I'll do the air filter. And that's that. So I'm just cracking on with this one. Where my dad's works, we've got to go and recover this little Agila. There's the Mini, I think that's sorted. And something else coming in this afternoon. So I'll catch you soon, guys. Right, guys, welcome back. Just thought I'd show you what we've been on doing. I've got it sorted. So while my dad was away. So like I mentioned, the silicone grease in the slides. The new fitment on the side there. Everything's all been wax oiled up because they were starting to corrode. And if you have a look here, just all your Citroen Berlingo components, brakes, trap rod ends, struts. Not a bad setup, really. Just a bit of a shame that Vauxhall's letting themselves slip, really. But they're not Vauxhall anymore. That's the Stellantis group. So yeah, new discs and pads on the front. The oil filter, like I mentioned, pre-filled. The special 030 oil's gone into it, which is the Peugeot Citroen rated one. But like I've said, this exhaust has gone there a bit. On these brackets it's gone, but unfortunately it's one piece all the way at the back. And you've got to actually start somehow cutting through up here to join them. And they're a nightmare, but this bit in the centre, it's just simply not available yet. It's not been made. You'd think on an 18-plate car, you'd expect a damn sight better than that, wouldn't you? And that, just an absolute disgrace, these things. So yeah, I don't think this has got many miles. We'll go across and have a look. It definitely hasn't got many miles. So now I haven't got it on, but I'm going to do the service reset anyway, so I'll bring it down now. Couple of the tyres, these Nexans, absolutely shit. They're starting to crack and perish, just to advise. So that's the brakes done. So I'm going to bring it down now and just show you what's under the bonnet, what's been done under the bonnet. Actually, there was one there I just wanted to show you on these. The bleed nipples on these suffer really badly for corrosion. So I've coated those, and also you can see I've coated those torques at the back as they rot out like nothing else. So again, they've all been clear wax oiled. That's why they look wet. All these little bits we do the extra for people, you see, because we're not greedy. We put a bit of our time and money and just do a good job. Everything's greased up. Obviously the pads have got the aluminium paste on them where it needs to be, not stuff splattered where it doesn't need to be. The hubs are greased up nicely. Everything's torqued right, and that's just how it needs to be. Instead of just this whole bish bash bosh job out, just nothing greased, nothing protected, and that's not really how I would want my car worked on. So I'm just bringing it down now. And I'll show you under the bonnet what's been done. So what I have done is the air filter, which I'll just show you now. It wasn't too bad. It's probably been in from original Citroen Peugeot one, dated 18. There's no dropping the thing because nobody's ever bothered to change it. The side there, 18, 15th of the 2nd, 18. And it's meant to have had Vauxhall dealer history, and that filter's never been changed from new. Hasn't done a lot of miles, but still, it should have really been done by now. So the air filter's done. There's your wet belt. There's your rubber belt that runs in oil within the engine. absolute madness. So when that needs done, all the side of the engine, all these pulleys, everything needs to come off. Cam covers off, inlet manifolds off. A very, very big, in-depth job for something that definitely will need done. And these belts are known to disintegrate, which is why you should always use the correct oil. And yes, I am going to wipe that. That's me dad. My OCD can't cope with that. So I'm going to fire it up now. As remember, the oil filter's pre-filled. And the only other thing I would advise with this shortly will be some platinum iridium spark plugs, because these little 3-cylinder engines, turbocharged. Actually, no, this isn't even turbocharged. Dreadful. These are normally the turbocharged 1200s are okay. These non-turbo ones absolutely woeful, especially in a car this size. Not for me. Got the tow bar out. My voice is starting to go. 2-ton tow bar. I'll just turn a little Agila in. But I like to do things right. I don't like shitty ropes and stuff. At the end of the day, you'll get done for dangerous driving if it comes off, because you're not using an adequate rope. So I've got this, which I'll show you later on. So I'm just going to jump in, fire it up. And while I'm in there, attempt to reset the service light. Well, it's a bit of a challenge sometimes getting into these, especially when the seat's being left forward, as I physically can't get in. Right, we'll jump in. As you can see, there's a little spanner light. I'm hoping with these ones it's just a case of keeping a hold of the check button, but we'll see. Yeah, so we're just holding the check and switch on the ignition, and we're counting down. 3, 2, 1, done. Nice and easy for a change. Makes a change at that as well. But now when we're off and back on, the little spanner's gone, and this, like I've said, it's only got 27,000 miles. So just remember the state of that exhaust. All these brakes, rear ones have had to have been done already. The front ones have been done. It's a pretty sad state of affairs when a car can't last that long. So we're just going to fire it up now. Obviously keep an eye for the oil warning light or anything silly like that, when all these lights stop dancing round. And there we go. There shouldn't be any need to build the oil pressure because the filter's already pre-filled. And there we go, happy days. So that's service light reset done. I'm just going to move the camera. So now we'll check the oil, put this other wheel on. Job done. So nice new set of front discs and pads. Oil and filter, air filter, plugs advised, exhaust advised. And that's it. So I'll catch you when I'm down there, and we'll get this little Agila attached to the Trooper and get it back in, because that is what I think is a crankshaft sensor going on it, but we'll see. Right guys, just a quick update. My voice is gone, but we're doing a bit of a recovery. So the old Trooper is got a heavy weight on the back today of the day. Little Agila. We've got this tow bar with the spring in it, which comes in handy, and it's got the nice split pin on the tow bar, which make light work. I think it's a crank sensor on this, but we'll see when we get back to the garage. Just thought I'd show you, because we can't tow with that thing with the electronic gearbox, because it's shit. So I'll catch you when we get back to the garage. Well guys, an unexpected turn of events. I've just getting back to the garage, I've towed it in. Like I've just showed you, I was going to do a bit of recording, but it was chaotic. People were waiting for it to get back, unhooking it. So anyways, the Trooper, this pull pin here, I've just cleaned it up, and now it's nice and free, so that I can get it out next time I need it. And I've got my tow bar cover to go on there, which is in the front of the car. But I am just wanting to show you around here, but I've already showed you on the video, but this has no ECU, no nothing. So it's going to be interesting to see if this has even got an immobiliser. But yeah, this thing towed that clearly like it's nothing, but it's still I don't know how heavy it'll be. It's still a chunk of metal. You wouldn't even know it was on the back. That's the old saying. Anyways, onto the Agila and why it's not starting. Done a code scan on it, and it's not the crank sensor, because I straight away knew it wasn't, because the rev counter was moving. So I went on, read them, and it said key not recognised. I'm thinking, key not recognised. It's strange. And as I got out into the car, I noticed on the floor in the yard was a little black piece of key, like this. I said to my dad, I says, "What's that?" He said, "Oh, I must have dropped off the key." Bearing in mind, this had happened before, because the car still wasn't starting in the yard and it didn't start at hers. So I thought, I wonder what's going on here. So I'll swing it round, and I opened up the thing, and in there, where the chip was meant to be, was nothing. So I was like, That's strange. So I just thought, well, I'll have a quick look round on the floor. You know, this thing's only the size like a grain of rice, tiny little chip. And I had a look on the floor down here, where you can see where the torch is, and buried in amongst that mat was the chip. So I'm just about to try it there now. The battery might still be flat, but I found the chip, which is this little black piece here. See that there? And all I'm doing is, so it doesn't drop out again, super gluing it in this time. Then we'll put the cover back on and tape it up or make it secure in some way. But there we go, it just shows you. Saved her a lot of money. So, you know, I'm going to put a bit more in there, let it set, and I'll come back to you to see if it starts, see if it recognises the code. So, fingers crossed it hasn't been damaged. Happy days. Not a crankshaft sensor. It's only going to cost like a call-out fee and a bit of labour. She'll be over the moon. She'll have her car back tomorrow morning. Right guys, moment of truth. I'll show you what I've done. I've glued it in. I've just been letting it dry actually. It's there now, back together. It does actually work as well if we just switch the camera around. Doesn't matter anyway, this worked regardless. But the remote locking does actually work. And obviously this bit here, I've just super glued the chip in, where you've seen, and I've actually just super glued the cover over the top, because to change the battery it's actually the back case and that needs to come off. The front one only really needs to come off to change the buttons. But to be quite honest guys, by the time these buttons run out, the car will be ready probably for scrap, or the old Dacia will probably just stop driving anyways. So that's the main point, that the chip is not going to come out again. So the question is, has the chip been damaged? Because obviously it's been stood on the floor, people have been screwing, like I say, our son and somebody's been messing about with it over the weekend. They had flattened the battery, and this is a key thing. When something's not right with the car, if you don't know what you're doing, my suggestion is leave it alone, because you'll end up just causing more problems and more expense to yourself. Because the battery was so flat on it, we couldn't even scan it at the door, which if I had been able to, even though we could have put a booster pack on, I don't really like putting booster packs on completely flat batteries. So we'll have a look and see if it fires up. Fingers crossed it does. I've wiped the codes off. Put the key in. See that car with the spanner light used to keep flashing. The airbag one flashes quite normally on these. We'll start, let's see if it starts. There we go. No lights. And there's the result. Nice little result there. Happy days. So I'm just going to let it idle for about half an hour. Charge the battery up. I would normally charge the battery overnight, but we've left one of our cars, because we towed it in with mine, but my dad met us up there to get the car prepared to tow, and he's left his up there, so we're going to send that one, swap them over, leave it running for half an hour, then swap them over. That's all for today guys. It's starting to rain and I want to get the cars in, so I'll catch you soon. Welcome to Wednesday's vlog guys. My voice is getting worse, so I'm struggling this time, but my mate Sam's here today. He's helping me do a few electrical jobs, and I'm busy doing a few jobs in favour for him sorting out work at my house on his car. So we've got some nice iridium NGK spark plugs to go in, which I just want to show you the difference between them. Let's just grab one, and I've got an old one out here somewhere. Let's have a look. Right, on here, and the ones that have come out are Champion ones, and I am not a fan of Champion plugs. Yes, I know they go back a long way, but the modern ones are absolutely rubbish. But yeah, you can see the tips have definitely been burning out on those, so some nice NGK ones to go in. I've already done the air filter on it. Somebody, obviously where he's bought it from, has fitted a cheap Napa filter, which is not what you want to be fitting to a high performance car. I fitted the original equipment UFI. It's getting the original equipment, well, say the original equipment better than original equipment, laser iridium NGKs and a MAN oil filter. But yeah, just to have a quick walk around, this is the All 4 Clubman, I believe. I'll get mixed up with what these are nowadays. There's that many of these minis out. Yeah, sorry, the Countryman. It's the Countryman Cooper S. And it is very quick, this thing. He's had me out in it a few times. Obviously, 4-wheel drive. It's got quite the usual funky kind of mini. I'm not going to open the doors because I've got a lot of plugs disconnected under the bonnet. But yeah, it's got all the bits and bobs. It's the John Cooper Works steering wheel on it. But yeah, These have got quite a lot of power. Let us tell you, obviously it's the S, the all 4 written down there. But I'm just busy on here. This is like a 2 litre petrol turbo. And I was busy on taking the plugs out, done the air filter, and we're going to change the oil on it. So that's that. We've got a little jars in. This is just for front and rear pads and check around it. Various little bits that you want to check on it. So, and over there is my trooper. I'm going to try and do a few jobs on that later on. And that's just the Astra there. So, struggling to do this, but I might come back later on. And if Sam wants to say hello, he's going to do a few jobs on some lighting up there that we've got. We had on this front-facing camera, that's the wrong direction, you've got the point. And add a few electrical sockets here and there, because that's what he is. He's like an industrial electrician. So, catch you soon, guys. I'm going to crack on and get the Mini sorted.
Okay.
Hello, guys. Sam's here, as you've seen, just been sorting his Mini out, and he's doing a bit of work forward, getting the light. I'll show you what he's done in the office later on. But this is Sam's car, his other car. He's having a bit joke on, but me and Sam have got this to test drive, joking. But yeah, bit of a different thing in the garage, isn't it? Aston Martin Advantage. Very nice. Some nice Volvo switches and stuff in there. I don't know if it's actually open, it's probably locked. No, it's open. Very nice. But yeah, it's one of our good customers have called by. I must say I'm not a supercar kind of guy, or a sports car guy, but I do actually like that. It's not too in your face, it's not too loud and silly, but just the right amount for me, I must say, if I was going to spend the money and I was in the market for one. But I love all these Volvo switches, you know, bit of quality, very nice. Yeah, I'd see myself driving one of those. So yeah, bit of difference on the channel, but I'll come back to you shortly once I get the Sam's car off the lift, get this little jars done. In fact, I'm going to pause it now and show you. Hello guys, and welcome back to Thursday morning. I just thought I'd show you a few different cars in here today, like not different, but just not stuff we often get in. We've got a Dacia Sandero, I believe. I'll just check the back. They did like a step cross or something. It's the Sandero 14 plate, but I just want to show you underneath what these are. Good cars. But all this stuff here dates back to the original Clios. I'm talking like the ones that started from kind of 98. And then, you know, like went right up to 06, 07. All old school stuff. But then again, nothing wrong with it. Hasn't even got your kind of standard drop links either. It's just your... they're like basically a big long nut and bolt with 2 rubber bushes. But yeah, for a modern car... They're very old school, but that's what the Dacia Coupe's all about, and I haven't really got an issue with that, in fairness. If it works, it works. You're going to get your general Renault issues, like what we've had, CV, boot ties and stuff like that, but Christ, if that's all you have to worry about, you know, it's what you're buying, you know, it is what it is. But I personally would own one of these. I wouldn't spend, I must say, I wouldn't go out and spend 20 grand or whatever they cost, like, you know, 50 for the dust that's brand new and these, but I would certainly have a second-hand one at a reasonable price, because they're a decent vehicle. I mean, when you get a look around, lovely and simple to work on. But yeah, just your springs that can be easily removed, shockers, brake drums, nice and simple. The usual Renault idea where they don't coat the pipes, so we coat them. You know, it's just, you know, nice and simple, and it goes with the name of what they really are all about. This tyre's knackered, as you can see, some nasty deep cracking in there, so that's going to have to get replaced for the MOT. Front discs advised, but yeah, just a good car. I'll show you that a bit better later on when it's off the lift. I've just spotted this here though, which doesn't look very good, and I did actually spot that on a what was it again? A Duster was like that on the sill. It seems to be a common thing with these, and I don't know why. That could actually potentially be an issue. I'll tell you if the other side's like that. Oh, now this side's doing exactly the same in exactly the same place as well. Strange. But I can tell you now, I know the car's coming up 10-year-old, but there I think that's going to be a known fault with these. What we've got outside, right, yeah, this Corsa, I'll show you what's in the garage. It's in for a full exhaust, so that needs done. I'll show you that when it's in. And these are becoming quite few and far between now. I've lost step of what Mark Focus is which now. I'm trying to think this will be a Mark 3. It was the first ones, then a facelift, which I think the class is a Mark 2. Yeah, so these will be like a Mark III. I actually owned one of these, an 08 plate one, when there were, oh no, sorry, they did the Mark III, I believe, and then this is like a Mark III.5, where they just slightly changed the headlight. It's basically the same car, but they slightly changed the shape, because the Mark IIIs had more of a square headlight that went up, and this has got that like bit curving. These are actually a good car for me. Unfortunately though, the usual thing, they just rot quite badly, you know, the sills, and down here. Ooh, hold on. My finger's almost gone through that there, and this is in for pre-MOT. So, right. I think we'll, yeah. Oh, shit. That was my finger, guys. You've seen that? Yeah. That's not good. And you've seen I didn't put much force on that. So, good car still. You'll be laughing there, but apart from that, they're actually alright cars. So yeah, this thing is obviously not going to be faring too good for... That's all going to be gone in there, in that arch. When you get a look into there, it's just completely gone into the sill. And if you start pushing up here, yeah, I'm not even going to push too hard on that. So yeah, there's the you know, there's a situation for you. This side, not too bad, but alright for the test, that one, but the other one isn't. That's the wing, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, generally speaking, you know, apart from the rot on some of these, they're not bad cars. They're not bad cars, just unfortunately typical with the reg, you see. SB, it's not concrete, guys, like I keep reminding you, but anything with an S on, I tend to avoid, because it's been in Scotland. Well, it doesn't mean being bought in Scotland brand new and then shipped straight down to London, but you know what I'm saying, as a general rule. So we'll leave that there. When I finish off preparing this Dacia Sandero, and we'll probably get the Corsa on the lift, I would think, because the exhaust is down here somewhere. It's just in there, and there's a bit on the bench. But yeah, that bit of corrosion down there is not something I expected to see. And these are your turbocharged 3-cylinder Renault engine, petrol. Not really too keen on those, if I have to be totally honest with you. I'd rather have the K9K diesel, the 1500, much stronger, better unit. And I'm just looking there, there's no coolant in it either. So that needs to be topped up. Not looking good either. So I don't know if this is under some kind of service plan with somebody, because this is a regular customer of ours, and she got this car about a year ago, and I'm not quite sure what she's been doing for servicing it. We'll have a quick little look at this. So yeah, we'll get everything topped up and checked on this one, and then apart from the tyre, it's ready for MOT. And as we know with the Focus, I don't think that's going anywhere, but I'll catch you soon. Well, my dad's way of getting the tyre on that Sandero. I'm going to get this Corsa up on the lift and get the exhaust started, as well as start getting the discs and pads put on this Fiesta. But I'm waiting on the S-Type coming, because the S-Type is back, guys, and the locksmith's here, and he's going to see if he can get the new ignition switch, something in there he's going to change. I believe it's, I'm just going to shut this door because it's really annoying, that beeping noise. So yeah, it's like, trying to think what it's been that long with this S-Type since it's had anything done. It's the reader ring for the immobiliser. So it's the ring around the ignition which reads the chip in the key, which we think is what's playing up on it. So he's going to do that. So that's coming here in about 15 minutes. So I want to get the Corsa up on the lift, get a start on the Fiesta before he comes, and I've got to lock the garage up and head over to drop him back off of Bedlington and head back here. So yeah, just thought I'd show you this Corsa though. It's the Sport Edition, because it sounds like a little sports car. Glorious. Most boy racers would love that. Not for me. I still don't really get what people see in loud cars. Personally, it's my pet hate. Unless it's like an actual supercar, I just have no time for pathetic, loud cars, especially for no reason. With backfiring, popping, I just think you look like an utter prat, to be quite honest. And 99.9% of people, when you go past them backfiring and stuff, you know, there's people with kids, dogs, or they're just generally on an evening or sitting in the house and that's what you're hearing in the background. Most people, 99% of people, will just think, what a dickhead, what a dickhead. But yet the person in the car think that they're the big boy. And it's so, what's that word, like cringy? You know, that moment, like, you know, where you're looking at somebody thinking that they're looking good when you just know everybody's looking at them going, what a dick. It's that weird moment, you know, like when you were younger in some weird kind of intimate scene comes on the TV. In fact, even now to this day as an adult, if you're watching like a movie or something and an intimate moment comes on and you're sitting there with family, you know, like, and you're like, it's that moment where, you know, you see them, like middle-aged men, you know, like 30, 40-year-old men racing up and down high streets, making their cars backfire, flipping, doing, you know, like 60, 70 mile an hour down like a 30 mile an hour zone, trying to look cool. And then they pull up at some traffic lights and you walk past them and they're sat there and you're like, wow, how pathetic you look now. So nah, not for me. Loud exhausts and showing off in cars ain't for me. Give me these any day. And you don't even need to drive fast. They don't need to be loud. They don't need to be... You don't need to do anything. You just need to drive them normally, and they're nice to be in. And yeah, a few people might look at them and go, oh, look at these old wrecks kind of thing. But they're a lot different to, yeah, guys, the phone went there. But that's just my opinion of pointlessly loud cars. We all did it when we were younger. You know, I had a little 1 litre Polo with a stupid exhaust on. But now people take things far too far, like kind of life's going at the minute, like it's everything, you give them an inch and they take an absolute mile. You know, now obviously with most new cars being turbo and stuff like that, comparative in our day, they were just little 1 litre 3 and 4 cylinder non-turbos. So now they're getting them tuned so that either, if it's a diesel, they're getting them so they pump out loads of black smoke and backfire, or if they're petrols, they're getting them so they backfire all the time. And again, it's okay once in a while, like I did. Put your foot down, have a bit of fun. But these lot, it's like, you know, they're doing it all the time. In fact, you get them coming in and the engines have actually melted, the pistons have melted. So, you know, you come in and they're whinging on and it's like, well, how often are you making it backfire? And it's like, all the time. You know, 3 o'clock in the morning, past the school at 3 o'clock, past people walking dogs. And, you know, it's like, get a grip. Rant over. But honestly, nowadays, the youth of today are just getting... It's not normally just the youth, it's kind of... the older generation as well, people like having a midlife crisis with a lot of money, they're getting all these like really top end cars and just driving them like absolute tits, which does my head in now. You can't walk along a nice country path nowadays without somebody flying past, popping and banging and backfiring. Rant over, guys, but I had to get that one in there. But the Jag's just turned up there, so I'm going to get on and run him back. Here are again, guys, back in the lovely S-Type. I love this car. Like I mentioned, the guy says I can use it whenever I want. I can have the keys, and when the tax is due, he says I can have it, do a deal, take it off him. So soon this car will be mine. I just don't know when. And at the minute, with as many cars, I'm not really pushing the boat out too far. Plus, he says I can still keep it in his garage as well over the winter. So happy days. We'll have a look, see how he's been looking after it, because it looks absolutely glorious. Still nice and clean from when... Lovely. He says I can take the keys anytime I want, take it any shows over the summer, which I'm tempted to because a lot of the shows are far away and I would like something with air conditioning, cruise control, all of that, which the ZX doesn't really have. It's more of a town car, you know. But yeah, it's been kept absolutely lovely, it has. Just thought I'd put that bit of video in. So now it's going in, I'll show you in the car. The locksmith's coming after 12 o'clock sometime. And we're going to have a look at the immobiliser reader ring. Because since, excuse my hand guys, shutting the door. Because since I've sent it back, we just don't take the key out anymore. We just leave the key in and use the other key to lock the door. But he's going to change the ring around here. It isn't actually that thing, it's behind it, which reads the key. And hopefully that might solve it, but we shall see. So I'll catch you soon, guys. Well guys, just a little update, how far we're on with the Corsa. Managed to save the back box. That saves, obviously, it keeps the original one on there. And we were just talking about that the other day. Vauxhall are still in existence, but they're obviously now, I would say, owned or contracted to the manufacturers, which is unfortunate because it means the only stuff available is Calarius and it is absolutely crap. If anybody out there does know any other brands of exhaust, which there used to be, Timex and everything years ago, let us know. Leave a comment below. But yeah, so we've saved the back box. It is like a form of stainless steel. We've managed to join it there to the back box. That is part of the back box. But unfortunately, the sensor on this one, because the guy said he was going down a hill and he decided, I think he changed into like first gear instead of third gear. And I think he nearly flipping blew the engine up. And what he had actually done was his tone, which I'll show you outside, the flexi off. And it must have damaged the sensor. So it's had to have a new sensor, centre section with the flexi to the cat, with new fitments, which they always rot a bit. And obviously we've saved the back box, but that money now through the sensor is kind of like a 50-50. It's going to cost the same, but this is what's left of the old piece. Hence it sounded like a sports car. So yeah, so that's that anyway. And just on with the Fiesta. And that's all that done. This was going to get ready to go. And yes, it isn't just sitting on the Astra, but that's discs and pads all done. And that's the sensor, as you can see. All the threads and everything. I don't know what's happened with it. But it's a 50-50 chance you take. Some of them come out, some of them don't. And to be honest, the last good 10 of them we've had have actually come out. So the time eventually has to come where they don't come out. That's what's left of the inside of the exhaust, basically.
And so, that's the nuts off the
And that's
flange.
what's left of the nuts off the flange. So there we go. But yeah, nice strong Astra there. We don't need a lift. We've just got the car resting on there. Now, just to be honest, I couldn't be arsed moving it. I've built this up. This is ready to go. That can go out. And what have we got out there now? The Sandero, that's done. As you've seen before, that's to be looked at, but it's knackered. So I personally don't see the point of putting this on the lift. Paul's here. I'll get him to say hello in a minute. Good friend of mine. We've got the Jag here, just waiting for the locksmith to be here. Well, that sky there, that looks lovely, doesn't it? Will be my car very soon. So there we go. I'll update you when all that things are on the lift. If we decide to put this Focus on the lift and it splits in half or something, I shall let you know. So I don't know if anybody's ever seen Paul before, but Paul wants to say hello on YouTube. Got the resident mechanic here.
Hello. Cheers.
But Paul comes in now and again to help and stuff. He used to have Mazda 626s. If anybody of you remember what those are. Me and Paul had some jolly runs up and down the country for those. I think he had 2 identical ones. Black Mazda 626 Sports. And then they've got the silver one as well, which his ex-partner's got now. So yeah, me and Paul had some jolly, what we call gallivanting up and down the country, getting cars. 2 Saabs as well, off his ex-partner's mother, because her husband passed away. And I got 2 lovely old Saabs, a 2.3 turbo 9.5 and a 900. Very nice, but unfortunately they're long gone now. So I'll catch you soon, guys. Hello and welcome back. Final part of Thursday. It's actually turned torrential out there, hence I've had to ditch the car into here because I wanted to do something to it without it being wet, which is I've bought some copy G101. Ignore what it says on there because it isn't. It's this, what do they call it again? It's a copy of Auto Smart G101, but it's in the back of here. I've getting 5 litres of it for 12 quid, and it's meant to be the Boyo, actually. It's meant to be really good. That's it there. It's got some weird name like Kryptonite or some bloody thing. And it looks rather gory. Yeah, Kryptonite G101, but AZ G101 for copyright reasons. For what I need it for, I'm not really bothered about branding names and stuff, but where I want to use it is the seats on this car and the floor. Because I've already showed you that it's alright, it's just a bit on the grotty side, you know, and on the carpet down there. So, no, that's not a baseball bat, guys. It's a steering lock before anybody comments. Let's have a look. Oh, the boot is open. And I'm going to try it on some really heavyweight staining, like black diesel oil on there. This is a working car, remember, guys. This is what it's going to be for me. Clearly, I don't abuse me cars, but I'm not going to be standing polishing it every day, kind of thing. But what we're going to do is, use this spray, which I'm going to spray on it once I'm finished what I'm doing. And then, with an electric drill, I've got a Milwaukee one, a decent one. I think I've showed you before. If I haven't, this is what I'm going to use. These. One just looks like a toilet brush, that one. But these, and they'll scrub. Obviously, that saves you hours of scrubbing. Put that on. Happy days. I've got some vacuum pipe to redo all the vacuum lines for the four-wheel drive system. I've got 2 upper ball joints, and I've got 2 lower ball joints coming because the boots are going on them, so I'll get that for 100 quid. Just replace them all. And that was just some more little T-piece things I got. I didn't want the pipe come for free. It was all them little T-pieces for joining the pipes. So that's something I'm going to have a bit muck round with. And to be honest, that kind of stuff I can do on weekends at home, so it's not really that I have to do here. But one with Paul's car. So this is a Peugeot. This is your DV6 engine, but it's the 8 valve that improved them. They did a 16 valve, which were absolutely horrendous, and they moved to an 8 valve, which is a hell of a lot more reliable engine. Hence, it's printed right there, a DV6, you see. Fitted of all sorts of vehicles, not just Citroën and Peugeot. So, on this, we've done the air filter, oil filter, fuel filter's buried in there, but I'll just show you what's come out. Believe it or not, this is a diesel dropped on it, but it was actually that bad. Paul does a lot of country tracks and stuff like that, so that is knackered. The fuel filter is, you can't see nothing inside them, sealed units, and the oil filters on these again, sealed units, but they're buried down there. So nice new oil in, air filter tops just to go on in a minute. And the main thing, important thing I want to show you with these is Peugeot tell you use this little primer if you run out of diesel. That will never in 100 million years get you started. What you need to have is put a vacuum machine and a little piece of adapted pipe to put on. What this is the return back to the tank. So this is the intake, that's the return to the fuel pump, and that's the return back to the tank. So what you want to be doing is attaching a suction device at the return back to the tank, and what that does is it draws diesel from the tank into the filter, fills it, down to the fuel pump, back out, then the return. So you're eliminating all the air out the system and drawing in the diesel. So when you come to start it, you just put that pipe on, pump it up, wait for diesel to start coming out of it. And in fact, I'll show you now, we'll record it. So I'll just put this cap on so nothing drops in there. And that on. So I'll just get Paul to just basically put that pipe into there. So there we go. For years we had issues with these. And there's all sorts of fancy things you can buy, but you just leave it, this return pipe disconnected, connect this, just pump it a few times, and then just wait. If you listen and watch, about a minute or so, I'm not going to have the thing recording for a full minute, but what that's doing now is drawing diesel from the tank, from the intake, into the filter, filling the filter, and bringing it out. Takes a little while. But eventually, I'll make a mark on there, and you'll see that starting to rise with diesel. Just doing a bit more. Just take a little while. And that's it all coming through. It takes a little while. So there we go, after a bit faffing about, we're getting that amount of diesel. Obviously, if it was up that bottom bar, so that's come through, about half a litre. Unfortunately, it has to go to waste, just mixed with like oil and stuff, but there we go. You've got to make sure you do that with these. They're still to be tested and ran. Air filter box back on. And that's it, guys. I just wanted to show you that. This Focus, it's pretty much gone, to be honest. It needs a lot of work, all this area here. Ooh, that's just gone through as well. So yeah, it's not really ideal. Big hole in the exhaust. I mean, the clamp is no longer part of the party. So yeah, that's a bit of a... But it's had bottom arms here. New bottom arms, but the top of the subframe ain't looking great. And like I've said on here, obviously, it's just... You know, that's gone through there. This is all fingers, you know, it's not hitting things with hammers or nothing. This front tyre is very near the limits. This area here would probably go through. That's just the wing, that's fine. It's had a new bottom arm as well at this side and a relatively new arm here. But this subframe is looking rather grotty, to be fair. We need to have a closer look at that. This flexi, I know from when it was running, is blown. This clamp is, as you can see, disintegrating. In fact, it's barely even attached to that. In all these inner sills, I personally don't think it's going to be worth bothering with, to be honest with you. I've got a list here of stuff. Yeah, the tyres, cracked and perished, the sills, obviously the brake caliper seized, offside front. Yeah, as you can see, it's hard to push in that inner edge of that tyre, ain't good either. Rear exhaust, you've seen that, the centre clamp, exhaust shields are all loose, the subframe advisory, and the front flexi, like I've mentioned. That's just been a brief look in between work, but you can see all these are just, it's not the end of the world stuff, but we're going to have another proper look through it shortly before it comes off the lift. But I personally think it's end of the story for that one. It's not really worth getting involved. So yeah, so that's that. Locksmith 7 problems. The Jag will have to give you an update on that tomorrow. Corsa's had all the full new exhaust fitted, like I've shown you. Dacia had the new tyre and been MOT'd. And like I've said, we've been on with Paul's car. His will be sorted shortly. And I'm going to do a little bit of work on that if I get time. Or I might just go home and chill and do it on the weekend. So I'll either catch you a bit later on, or I'll catch you on tomorrow on Friday's vlog. Right guys, I'm just going to finish things off. Nice easy Friday. Job done this morning. MOT on a Tiguan, a few little jobs on that. And also we've had the S-Type, which has been getting the new, let's see if it works, let's do a test, shall we? The only thing on the whole system that has not been replaced is the reader for the immobiliser on this. So therefore, we're going to find out. It's all been stripped down and it's had a new reader put in. I think he's left it, has he? Or not? I don't know. No, there's a box. But it's basically, there's a reader in here, a ring, which reads the chip in the key. And if I put this in and it goes bzzzt, it's working, which it is. It will start. So, it's going to have to just go back to the owner and have a test. But like I've mentioned, I've been promised this car, so this is more than likely going to be mine. Not long, a couple of months' time. I've already got free use of it. The guy says I can just take it, use it whenever I want it. Take it to any shows, and then when he decides, when he gets his car back off his son, this will then become mine. And it is absolutely lovely in there. Proper Jag. I know a lot of people have things to say about an S-Type, but this one is lovely. It's a very early 1999 T-Reg, same age as these two. That's actually a 98. So yeah, so see how that goes with this one. Trooper, moving me stuff into it. I've been doing a few little bits, like I've mentioned, for MOT reasons. All this vacuum system is redundant, and I was just going to rip it all out. But for MOT reasons, you can clearly see these are the EGR, emission control equipment. Now, they were originally unplugged with no pipes going to them. Even though the pipe that goes down there and hides underneath is completely deactivated, now that looks like an MOT pass. When they're just visibly unplugged and nothing there, it's an MOT fail. So I've just made up a little bit of piping to put on there. Because what I am going to do with this is, if you see that bit of grotty orange pipe, I'm going to renew it all with... So yeah, I'm going to be replacing all of this pipe work. I've bought 10 metres of this, which this engine does not require the vacuum system because the EGR valve system is deactivated completely, and this doesn't work either because all of this is for the 3 litre. But what does require vacuum is the 4-wheel drive system. So I'm going to start from that vacuum point and work around all the underneath, the front axle to the back to the accumulator and all that when I get time. But for now, this is how it is. I don't know what else I've been doing to this, really. Just like, oh, that's what it was, giving it a good clean. If you look on my Facebook channel, I've cleaned all these seats with the drill brush. They look good as new now. Just busy letting them dry out. There was black oil stains all around here. All the carpets were stained, which I've now cleaned. And the back was horrendous. It had diesel oil and everything stained, which I've now lovely cleaned it. I should have really showed you this on the video, but I just didn't think to. But yeah, even the floor on the passenger side was just full of oil, and now it's lovely and clean. Bar Galaxy there. So yeah, the only seat I haven't done is this one, which if I move this out the way, I'll show you the difference. I'll try it best as I can. There, how grotty that one is. and the driver's one was me, and this is only one I haven't got round to cleaning, which I'm going to do now. So yeah, as I'm dropping things. So that's that, done. Will be done. Jag's going back. And a bit of a sad goodbye to the Altea. It's sold. That Focus that come in yesterday, that was knackered. I felt sorry for the lass. She was desperate for a car, and she named an amount what she wanted to spend, and it was an amount I was quite happy to take for this. It's going to be sadly missed, but luckily she lives local, so I'll be seeing it. And the amount of money that I've sold her it for, when I had a look around and when she had a look around what was there, she wouldn't have really gotten much better than what she had. Bulled up from some dodgy salesman, claiming it's got a full dodgy year's MOT, where with this, it is absolutely mint. She loves it. She can't believe how nice it drives, and obviously she drives long distances, and that Focus 1600, they're gutless to start with and very thirsty. Good, not bad cars, but very thirsty. So unfortunately it's farewell to the old girl, which I genuinely will miss it, because it's been in my possession, so to speak, for nearly 2 years now. Yeah, sad to see it go, but I can't keep them all. I know you might think I'm absolutely bonkers getting rid of that to keep this, but like I've mentioned, it's the summer now. I've got the ML Taxton on the road. That's a lovely motorway cruiser, even though it's a bit thirsty. I've got the ZX, which I'm clearly still going to use, other than just shows. I've got the little van, and I've got the Trooper here. So when I've got an offer to sell one, I'll let it go. The next up, I might let the van go. If anybody's interested in the van, let us know, but this will be going out in a long time in advance, behind the actual real time. So we'll leave that there, guys. That's where we're up to anyways. I'll finish it there. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's vlog. If you've enjoyed it, hit the like, leave a comment. That's what it's all about. And if you haven't already done so, it's free of charge. Takes you 2 seconds. Hit the subscribe and you'll be notified when I put new videos up. Catch you next time.